Hello everyone, welcome here again. It's me Elohim again. You probably recognize me for this fun, interesting accent that you can't understand. For that reason, I have a guest every night because they talk for me. This night, I am in the amazing presence of this gorgeous person next to me that is Kiki Dombrowski. She's a writer, she's a diviner. She's very well known because almost 3 years ago, she has the opportunity to publish this amazing book, A Curious Future, a book dedicated to divination and different ways of scrying. And she's now doing a reissue, a new edition of the book, more complete, deeper, bigger, very interesting. I have the opportunity to read the book. I really enjoyed it. Also, Kiki always talk on her Twitter about different topics related with tarot, with astrology, with sacred rites, with these kind of things. She's always sharing very nice sources of information. I know that because I'm stalking her, like I do with all my friends. I'm a very good stalker. So how are you doing, Kiki?
I'm very well. It's so nice to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for finding me and stalking me on Twitter.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Kiki, you published this book with Which Way magazine? I'm not really sure who is the complete name.
Sure, that's a great question. It's under Which Way Publishing, which I almost think of it as like a family. There's Which Way Magazine, and Which Way Magazine is a digital magazine that comes out monthly. And then they put out some like paper copies every single year as well. But Which Way also has a podcast called The Daily Witch, and they also are publishing books. And so I had them publish it, and I'm so thankful for it to Tanya, my editor, who's the editor of the magazine and then also the book. She's just so gracious and thoughtful, and we've known each other for a long time, so I feel like she knows what I'm trying to say and is really gentle with me when something needs to be changed, or I need to expand, or I need to hurry up, so it was a real treat to publish with them.
I love the idea to have women writing. I love the idea to have women doing edition. I love the idea of women in power. I love that idea. I really love it. I know I not will die happy if I don't see not just one, but a lot of women being president in different countries, in different continents, in different parts. We need that change. And see women supporting other women. Because for men, it's very easy to support a woman because we are men. Society is very easy with us. We have everything easy. I have this very uncomfortable talking with many of my friends before because I have a lot of sisters. I have 5 sisters.
Oh,
yes, I am the youngest.
Lovely. Oh, you're the youngest too.
Yes.
Oh,
I am the victim. And I know for fact, because I see it with my eyes, I know for fact how society makes difference between women and men. For men, it's very easy to do everything, including support women. But see women supporting women is amazing. It's inspiring. It's gorgeous, and it's something that we need to see more often in all the different aspects of society. I really like that you have an editor who is a woman, because understand you in deeper levels that probably a man can do it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm thankful that you're here to be such a strong support system and give the opportunity for women to be present and people from all around the world to be present and to share their perspectives. Yeah, I'm really thankful for that. And that is something that I really love about Which Way too. It's an incredibly diverse family of writers and artists and listeners from all over the place, from all different backgrounds, from, they all have different identities, and we all just come together, and it's just like this big, wholesome, caring family. And Tanya is a dear female friend, or a woman friend of mine, and I just love it, having that person. Like, I call her if I need to get support as a friend, but then I can also swap ideas with her on a professional writing level as well. So yeah, it's really fun. And the illustrator on my brother actually illustrated the cover.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, he's so talented. Oh my God. He just did a poster for Fish, for the band Fish. But we also had a young lady do the illustrations for the inside of the book as well. So yeah, it is. It's a lot of girl power. I like that.
Yes, I like it. Talking about the book, when I received the book, when I had the opportunity to read it, I really I not was sure what I was expecting, because it was like, it's a book on divination, so it's about the scrying and things. I'm not really sure, because the title is very suggestive, like it's a lot of things. And when you start to reading it, it's like I imagine that it's like you take a whole class of a whole week on divination, in different characters, in different aspects of divination, and you are going forward in all of this. The language of the book is very nice, because you introduce the reader to what is divination, what is clairvoyance, different aspects of clairvoyance, different aspects of divination, how this works, astrology, tarot cards. All the chapter about the Ouija board is very interesting. Your talk with Tanya, about the Ouija board, all the book is really nice. Because the language in the book is like a teacher teaching you in life. Don't feels like something, superficial, just writing in there. Feels like someone is talking to you, and I was having this talk with someone else about this topic. I really like it. Tell me, how was for you the process to write the book?
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm so happy that you got to read it, and just, getting to know you through Twitter. I just knew how kind and generous and supportive you are. So I was so excited when you're like, yes, I'll read it. So thank you. The process of writing the book, it started, so this is actually a second edition. And the first edition was about half the size. And I self-published the book. And I decided to have it expanded because I just felt like it was ready to be fleshed out. And just kind of like reading some of the reviews, I thought, this can really mature, and it could become a really polished, comforting product. And so in terms of my writing process, it started a while ago. And I think the thing that I really liked about revisiting it was that, I started it 3 or 4 years ago, and then I revisited it, but I had all this time in between, edition 1 and edition 2 to further explore each of the forms of divination, to deepen my understanding of it, and maybe even, develop my own ability to communicate with people. And it was really important to me to have a loving tone through the book, where everybody who reads it could feel like it was almost, I call it a gateway to divination.
Yes.
And so, so I want it to be something where no matter where you are in the scheme of learning about divination, whether you've never thought about tarot cards in your life, or you have, a collection of different divination tools, I want you to feel like you're welcome to this opportunity to develop this skill set.
Yes, that's great. And feels like that. You really did an amazing job on that, because feels like that.
Thank you. Yeah. And maybe that's just part of my personality too. I want everybody to feel welcome. I always say everybody's always invited.
Yes.
You're always welcome to come over. Come on over.
Yes, it's great. About the book, about yourself in the book, which is your, I have two questions here. Which was your first tool or way of divination, and which is now your favorite?
So which was my favorite?
Which was the first one, the first method of divination that you try?
Yeah.
And which is actually your favorite now?
Oh, that's a good one. So I would say my first divination tool was tarot. I discovered tarot at a very young age, which I'm thankful for. I saw tarot on TV. So it was on a TV show called My So-Called Life, which was my absolute favorite television show. So at 13 years old, my mother took me to a metaphysical shop where I still hold such gratitude for the people who worked there. They really guided me in finding a tarot deck and finding a couple books and giving me some encouragement, even at that age, to begin that journey. I still read tarot, and at this point it's pretty deep dive tarot. Now I'm like, well, why is it shaped like this? And who wrote this? And now I'm even diving deeper. I've been talking to a few people who are helping me with the history. So I'm always just trying to fill in knowledge gaps with tarot. So it's kind of funny. I still think tarot is one of my favorite forms of divination, just because it's so complex and it's such a beautiful, poetic and magical language. Yes. But I would say through the process of writing the book, one of my other favorite forms of divination now would be, and I'm looking this way because I'm looking at all my different divination kits. They're sitting on a shelf right out of view. I should probably pull them up here for interviews.
They are watching you. They are looking to see what do you say.
Yes, I know. They're like,
they are like children. Oh, which is your favorite?
Yeah, I know. Oh my God. And they all sit on this tray together. So I have a bone and trinket kit, which I absolutely adore. And that's a very, very special kit to me because it's a collection of objects I've found from traveling. Like a crystal from Belize, like stuff like that is in there. Or even, like an acorn from Shenandoah, Virginia. And then there's also stuff in there from my grandparents who have passed away, and then actual proper bones as well, which were ethically sourced. So that's such a special sacred kit for me. But I also love seashells. I live on the beach and I am such an avid beachcomber. Like I will walk up and down the beach looking for the perfect seashells and, seeing if I could see any, fun life on the shore. So the process of collecting different seashells and assigning different interpretations to them was really special to me, but also being able to write about my personal interactions with the different shells in the book was really important. So I don't have one favorite. So now they're all like, okay, yes. They're happy with my answer. They're like,
exactly. A very diplomatic answer. Is the answer that a mom can give to the children. Yeah, all of you are my favorite.
You're all my favorites. Yeah.
Yes. Kiki, I made these 3 questions to everyone that I know. The first one is because I am the immigrant here. I am the new one. I don't know too much about the country. So, which is your city? Where do you live? And which is your favorite thing about your city?
Ooh, that's interesting because I just moved. I used to live in Nashville. So I was in Nashville, Tennessee for about 12 years. And I recently moved because I'm such a beach baby. I love to be on the beach. I love to swim. So now I live in Savannah, Georgia, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's so different. It's so different. So it's like, Tennessee was like all woods and it was kind of, Nashville itself is like an up and coming city. So it was really busy. There was a lot of traffic. And now I live in the low country and I always joke around. I always teasingly say that living here is like living in a Jimmy Buffett album. It's like really laid back and kind of like chilled out. So I don't live in downtown Savannah. I live on an island just on the coast. And so I'm about 15 minutes from downtown and 15 minutes from the beach. And so I would say, obviously, my favorite thing about where I live is the beach, but not only the beach itself, but the ride to the beach. It's a stunning and magical ride because it's called Route 80. And I like that because 8 has that infinity sign next to the 0, which makes me think of the cosmic egg. So I kind of like the symbolism in that number 80, wow. Route 80. But what I love about it is it's this little road and it goes through all these marshes. And depending on what the tides are, there could be water up onto the road, or all you see are like these like oyster banks and different birds like like hunting. The other day we were driving and we saw a cat hunting through the marshes, which I thought was really cute. I was like, is that a cat? So what I love about that is that it's this real space of liminality. So even just moving towards the ocean has this sort of like transformative energy to it to go through there. So while I could say, you know, there are haunted places in downtown Savannah and beautiful squares, I think that there's some sort of like magical liminality to moving from, you know, the mainland onto the coast and into the islands. It's beautiful. The Georgia coast is stunning. You'll have to come visit. You're always welcome.
Yes. Just listening to you, I was transported there. I was visualizing everything. Thank you for the experience.
Yeah.
My other question here is, do you know New York? This is not a question, but do you know New York?
I love New York. So I grew up in Connecticut and my sister and brother both live in the city. So, and they're both in Brooklyn now. So my brother used to live in Queens and they've just moved to Brooklyn, and my sister's in Brooklyn too. Yeah.
I love Brooklyn. When I arrived in United States, I was living first in the Bronx. I was working a long time in Brooklyn and living now in Queens. So I have your family next to me, probably are my neighbors.
I know. And I love Astoria. Astoria is such a cool area. And I'm a big Yankees fan, so I love baseball. But I love New York. It's a really powerful center. It's really wonderful. How long have you been in New York for?
In some for the day that we put this video on the platform, probably I have the 6 years because I'm very close in just some weeks.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes, it's a magnificent city. I really love the place. I really like it. I like the energy. I like the people. I love this multicultural thing. You go out and you see people from different countries dressing like very cultural, like very representative of their places, and everyone is, most of the time, they are kind with everyone else. And you want to eat, I don't know, burgers or pizza or Chinese food at 3 a.m. and you find the places open for you. And it has that because I was working for a long time in a restaurant, and so for some time I don't want more Italian food. And when I go out like 2, 3 a.m. of the work, and I need to go from Brooklyn to Bronx in the subway at 3 a.m., I was very hungry. And every time I find a place to buy something, Chinese food or Venezuelan food, Colombian food, Cuban food, and that's something that you don't see in other parts, in other cities or in other countries.
Right. Yeah, it's a real blessing having that available, that opportunity to enjoy cuisine. And I think that food also can transport you to different places as well. And it could really just conjure so much joy and comfort. Oh God. I still talk about like how, like there have been times where I've had cravings so bad for empanada mamas in Astoria that I'm like, should I just get tickets? I could stay with my sister for the weekend and go eat in New York City.
Yes. My next question here is, because I have other 2 questions. Do you remember which was your first book on witchcraft or magic?
Yes, very much so. It was The Power of the Witch by Laurie Cabot. That book was such a game changer for me. When I was in 9th grade, so I was 14 at the time, I guess 14 or 15 years old, we had to do a book report, and it was called the I Project. So it was meant to be like, I am this person. This is how I identify as, you know, this is an identity of myself. And I was like, I'm going to write a project on witchcraft. And so I found The Power of the Witch, and I read The Power of the Witch by Laurie Cabot, and I just found it to be such a beautiful story. And it really influenced me in a very positive way. And I got a good grade on the book report too.
Wow. This is the thing. I like her so much. I have the opportunity to take just for now 2 classes of her. When when I moved here from Venezuela, in my country's books are incredibly expensive. You can't imagine how much. I mean, in my country, books are a luxury. It's like buy a car.
Wow.
It's something that you just see fancy people buying books. You just see fancy people in the bookstore. So we don't know many authors. But I am in Venezuela is part of Amazon. Amazon is part of Venezuela. I mean, Amazon, you know, is this magnificent place where everybody belongs. Like you have Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela. Everybody is in there because Amazon is in the middle. Many people from Brazil know who is Laura Cabot because her books are in there in Portuguese, and people loves her, but loves her so much, and everybody was talking about her, but I didn't know. When I moved here, this is something very interesting. When I moved here, I find her books. For start, was like, okay, this is the person, this is Laura Cabot, this is her books, but it's in English. I don't read English yet because when I come to the country, I don't talk the language. I started learn English 2 years ago in 2019.
You're kidding me.
I promise. I started in 2019 to take classes because I am dumb, because I am already in the country and I don't have the money to pay classes. I don't have lawyer, I don't have anything. And I don't knew anyone. And in 2019, a friend of mine called me and said, oh, you know that the English classes are free? No, it's not. Yes, they are free in the school. Really? I have 3 years here. Yes, you go to any school and they offer you classes. So I go to two schools and they start taking classes. In one school was Tuesday and Thursday, and the other school was Friday night, but very late in the night. So I come out of the work to the school to take classes, and the next week doing the practice. So finally, I started reading her books. And when I read her, it was like, wow, this woman, wow, was incredible.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I can't believe what a talent to be able to like take classes like for only 3 years. I started taking Spanish classes in high school and can barely order dinner in Spanish. So I applaud you for how, oh, wow, that's so amazing. Well, I'm so happy you were able to find something and then be able to read Lori's books. And she is such a powerful woman like that. The picture of her where it's like, she's like walking down the street in Salem and she's got the cape on and it's all misty. She's like, that's what I want to be when I grow up.
Yes, and when you read her, this is the thing. It's many books on witchcraft. I don't have any critique about it. It's many books with so many perspectives and so many people saying different things, but not always a book really surprised you. And when you read her, you feel like the presence of the person telling you everything about magic, about power, about how to power yourself, about how to do the craft, about the techniques and the training. And you feel it in the book, and that's amazing because not every author has that level of voice or presence in their books, and was amazing.
Yeah. I owe her a lot of gratitude because she really inspired me to pursue this life. And there were many books that I enjoyed and read afterwards. I'm a little bit older, so like I was definitely like in like the 90s reading all the Ravenwolf and the Cunningham and which I love. There's still some really valuable and important things. Fiona Horn was another writer who is just, Christopher Penczak, all these people that who is so kind. And oh my God, I've taken some classes with him this year and I've just, it was so fun.
Amazing person. I meet him too here in New York, obviously, and he was a total experience. Really, he's an incredible person. I just take 1 or 2 classes of him. I think, one physical and one online. He's a master. He's a real master.
It's really cool being able to exchange information with him. And I'm going to Egypt in September with my boyfriend. We're both we're so excited to be going for a couple weeks. And so Christopher taught a course on Thoth, And so I got to sit through that, and I was like, this is going to be so good because I could use this information when I go to Egypt. And, you know, I took all the notes and they're in my journal to go with me to Egypt. So he'll be there with me.
Exactly, in presence.
Yeah.
Next question. Do you remember, this is the most silly question that I always do to my friends, but this is a question that I like to do. Do you remember which was your first spell?
Ooh, what was my first spell? I don't know if it's a spell more than an offering, but it's the first thing that came to my mind, so I feel compelled to share it. I think that the first things I really got really interested and fascinated by were the idea of fairies, and fairies being alive in nature, and that there were nature spirits and perhaps these otherworldly or invisible, you know, creatures that have different abilities than we do. That was something that I was always really drawn to and intrigued by. And I'm a huge Tori Amos fan, like such an obsessive Tori Amos fan. And I remember in her albums, she always used to thank the fairies. And so for me, I think the first things I did was I was leaving offerings for fairies. And so maybe it wasn't a spell, but I remember even being very, very young, you know, again, around the time where I was really first introduced with Lori, and I was learning about, you know, sort of the wheel of the year and Beltane and the solstice, the summer solstice. And I would leave milk and honey out for the fairies as an offering. And I have such a space of gratitude for where I grew up, because it was very rural and wooded. And I grew up in Connecticut, and I really think that there's some hidden mysticism and some really powerful energy that moves through Connecticut. And I do believe that I received a thank you, you know, and a powerful response to the offerings that I left. Who doesn't like milk and honey for a little party offering, right?
Yes. That's a very nice answer. I really like it. Because I don't feel like something like my example. My first, I grew up in a family where everybody practiced magic, so no was something like, you know, when everybody in your family is doctors and they want that you are a doctor and you're like, yeah. For me, it was like, yeah, literally. That was my attitude all my childhood. I remember that. I was the rebel in the family. And every time they were doing rituals and stuff, and I know was really interested. But when I had 11 years, I made a charm bag, a talisman, because I was doing very bad in the school. They put me, I was in the art school and they moved me to the military school. That was a big contrast. And was so many hours and was so many days in there. And I was doing really bad in the school. So I made a talisman for that. So I did it with a purpose for me. So yours, I like it because it's something more about integrate with the nature, with the spirits, and I really love that.
Oh.
Mine was a little more egocentric. I admit.
It was more what?
Egocentric. Because.
Oh, you froze. Oh no.
And in any moment the connection will become, and you are here again. Yes.
Hi again. I was like, oh no.
Yes, no worries. It's for sure my connection because I live close to the river, so the Wi-Fi always come down. That happens. But no worries. So my next question is, I have two more.
Yeah.
How was 2020 for you?
Wow. 2020 was, it was
complicated.
Tough. Yeah, complicated is a really good word to describe 2020. You know, in many ways, I'm grateful for everything I went through in 2020, but I also, you know, I had a lot of challenges I faced as well. trying to think about where I was. So at the beginning of the pandemic, there was a huge tornado in Nashville. I still was in Nashville at the time. And the tornado missed our home by maybe 1.5 miles, 2 miles, maybe.
I was expecting this answer. I know what's expecting. How was, well, you know, I started the year with a little tornado coming to my home. But that was just starting the year.
It was so difficult because then after the tornado hit, we obviously wanted to do relief work and help and support people. So we went out into the community, and I mean, there were homes where all that was left was like a bathtub. And it was like, you would just cry and you would get goosebumps. And literally, like, at the same time that we're trying to go out into Nashville, into the community and help and, you know, feed people who are working or help people clean up and like find any belongings that are still, you know, worth keeping, people were starting to close in because of the pandemic.
Exactly.
It was so scary. I felt at the beginning, and I think everybody felt this way too, there was this sort of sense of like, it feels like a snow day for adults, whereas in it's like, well, I don't have to go to the office. That's great. Yes. And then it just kept going and going, and just seeing the tragedy and the loss and the misinformation was so, I mean, it's a trauma. It's a grief that I think, you know, humanity is going to carry with them. And that we're all going to have to work through together and help each other heal through together. So in that way, there was a lot of tragedy but at the same time, at some point I kind of went from, because at first I was very exhausted, that what I felt my response was to it was like I was sad and I was lethargic. So I vegged out a lot. I watched a lot of TV, but then finally I pulled out of it, and all of a sudden I was like gardening. Like I had this beautiful garden. And what else did, you know, and then I started writing, you know, and so 2020 was both, there was a lot of grief and there was a lot of challenge, but at the same time, I don't know where the switch happened, if it was just through prayer and meditation or just having a really joyous and healthy support system around me, that I was able to go, you know what, I think I have the energy now to, you know, go garden or to cook something delicious and new, or to go for a walk, or to take photos, or to write tonight. But it wasn't without stress. I'm ready to you know, to have a little bit more opportunity to go back out in the world. I am kind of getting a little stir crazy, and want to travel without feeling as scared. Yes. as I feel right now. I feel very concerned. So yeah, 2020, it was a mixed bag.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the year start with a lot of reflection about, you know, we are ending a political period that has been a little complicated. After this, and everybody was thinking, oh, this just go to end in this year, and then happens tornadoes and fires in Australia, and it was the worst part. I mean, the worst in their history, and then comes the apparently third war was very close to start, and next week just COVID start, and so all the other news was like, all of this was in the past. Now we are in the middle of this horrible pandemic, and was a very stressful year. But in many people lost, not just people, they lost things. They lost their house, they lost the job. And for other people, and I understand why, they feel guilty, like, oh, you know, between all of this, I did very well, or was a productive year, or now some people have a store or has new projects. So they are like, what's a productive year, but at the same time feel guilty, and it's a very confusing blend of emotions. So for example, here in my home, we are doing like 2020 don't happen.
Yeah.
That not happens. I don't know what was that. You have a birthday? No, we don't celebrate birthdays. That year not happens. Because it was a very complicated year, especially when you are out of your country and all the communication is via Skype, and most of the time Skype was down, so it was very complicated.
And I can imagine too, it's also very scary being in the city, because that could be a place where there's a higher risk of
Yeah,
getting sick, and knowing that it could be, I know that there was a lot of people leaving the city as well at the same time, and just knowing that when we emerge from our homes, the landscape is going to be different.
yes,
And I think too, a lot of people don't want to go back to what they had. It's like, I don't ever want to work in an office ever again. It's not necessary. I have a beautiful, beautiful office, but you can't see her, but my cat is sitting next to
exactly.
me. Yeah. Like,
Yes,
I don't need to go to the office anymore. We could grow our own food. We could lead healthier lives. We can have less of a carbon footprint. So I think in many ways, a lot of people are saying, I don't need to go back to that stuff. And I think people are calling BS on billionaires who are, going to outer space, or whatever their next goofy project is, and kind of just going, that's not important right now. We need to heal
exactly,
each other, and we need to heal the world. We need to heal the planet. So
exactly.
yeah.
So, Kiki, next one. I love your name. I love Kiki, really.
Oh, thank you.
Because sounds like you are talking with your sister or with someone who is very, very close to you. Oh, how are you doing, Kiki? I mean, sounds so great.
Good.
This is, I see, because I stalked you, and I do a very good work stalking people. I know that you were doing a series of workshops for the Boston Public Library for teens and young adults based on divination. Tell me, how is this experience for you? Because when I find it so interesting, because what I expect of my friends who are authors on witchcraft. Oh, that you are doing one class a year in some kind of bookstore or botanica, but not in the Boston Public Library.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this is a very amazing project, and it's a very great opportunity. Divination is also a tool that has a way that has so many tools and so much history integrate. So how is all of this experience for you?
Well, it's been an absolute blessing. I'm really thankful to have the opportunity. So I'm so thankful, and one of the librarians there, his name is Paul. Paul was, I really have to show him a lot of gratitude, because he helped to arrange this, and he also assisted in finding all my typos and editing.
Wow.
So yeah, so really big thank you to him. But the workshops at Boston Public Library actually started a bit ago. When did I start doing them? What month are we in? See, that's the other thing about 2020. Now we have no connection to what does time mean. I'm like, I don't even know what day it is anymore, let alone what
Yes.
year.
Yes.
Trying to think about when did I
I
start.
understand you.
Yeah. I think in February, I did some workshops with the Boston Public Library on tarot. And so we just had so much fun talking about tarot, and we'd meet monthly and talk about a different aspect of how to work with tarot. And everybody really enjoyed the courses. And I guess there was positive feedback, because Paul asked me to do another series on divination. So we just went ahead and just went forward with it. And I'm trying to think about, we just started in July, so we still have we do a class each month, and it's through Zoom, and it's been a lot of fun to talk to young adults, because that's when I started, and it's really nice to have a warm and welcoming voice that's able to give you some really thoughtful guidance, as opposed to just maybe doing a quick Google search, although who am I to judge? But I mean, it's also nice to just have somebody go hey, I was in your shoes once, and I would have really been thankful to know that my local library had a nice lady witch come on and show them how to work with tarot. So it's been such a positive experience, and I think people could, as long as you fit in that age range, young adult, and I think college, you could sign up. It's open to the public, and it's $0, because it's brought to us from the beautiful Boston Public Library, and Boston is such a cool town. So Woohoo.
Wow, it's a great step. I really like. This is the thing. I love when people do something nice like this, because is so much competition in the community, in every community. It's not just in this one. Because I work with marketing, and the marketing community is very competitive too. So doctors, teachers, everybody has some kind of competition. But I like to see when everybody do something like this, that you're coming close to other people out of the community, because every step that we do out and is with very good results like this is a very good step for all the community. You are opening new doors for everyone. And that's very nice, because you are bringing other people and you are helping to others to find everything in this path, to find the art of divination that has so much understanding, but also so much misunderstanding out there. And this is very great. I really like it.
Thank you. And yeah, I really like that idea of that you brought up. It made me think of something. You said competition. I really tried to not be competitive at all. I'm excited when other people find success. And I think that you will find, and I say you as in the general, you, like all people will find that the more you support and highlight and give your gratitude to other people, and even people that are doing the same exact thing as you, it doesn't matter, you're still going to find success. I bet that that's somewhere in here, isn't it?
Thank you. Thank you. I know what's expected. I know what's prepared. Thank you. We need to delete all the video and do it again.
Yes. This wonderful book called Manifestation Magic. I bet there's some information in here on what happens.
I know the author. It's a little crazy. I know the author. It's a little crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Thank you.
Yeah. But I truly believe that no matter what, like if you show your support for other people doing things, and you highlight what they're doing, and the more we lift each other up, the more success we're going to give to this community, and the highest quality information is going to get out there. So I love seeing people. I know what it takes to put a book out. Like, it's not easy. It takes a lot of effort. So when I see people that complete that project, it's like a marathon for writers. It's like, you just completed a marathon. Oh my God, what can I do to help celebrate this with you?
Thank you. Your awesomeness is enough. And your presence here is more than enough. Kiki, I really appreciate your time. I know that you are very busy. You're a very busy person doing a lot of work, doing classes and stuff. And you have this book that is really new. It's really new. Has come in the market just 2 months ago in July. It's available everywhere for everybody. The links will be below in the description. Follow the links. I will let you there all the links to Kiki, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything that I can find about her, her directions, number, phone, everything. No, I don't go to that. But I could, but not. Something else that you want to share, Kiki? This is your space. You can say whatever you want.
I want to say thank you so much for all that you do, and thank you so much for, all the support and the effort that you give to sharing other people's artistic creations and magical research. That's really important. And I look forward to the time that we could go and get something really delicious, go to some restaurant together in New York City, and and meet up.
I invite you. You can stay here. I have a lot of space. I have a lot of room here. I have patio. You can see Manhattan from my window.
I love it.
This is a very weird maze, because I literally has Manhattan in the window, but I am disconnected from the city because I am in the other side of the river. So if you want to go to the city, you need to take like 2 hours to go, but I literally can see the city in front of me. So it's very funny.
That's beautiful to have that has to be such a beautiful muse to like just walk outside and go, oh, look at that.
Yes.
Look at what we can create if we just, follow our hearts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kiki, for your time. I really appreciate it. I really love your work, and I really, really adore and promote and love, and for that reason I promote your book because I really like. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks to everyone. Remember that you can find the links of Kiki below in the description. I will let you their Instagram, Twitter. You can follow her, ask her for things, look for her classes, look for her book, and for any other project that she's doing. And I will let you also the links for Which Way magazine here in the description, so you can figure out how to find your issue, your copy of the magazine every month. Thank you, everyone. Remember, share, and please remember support podcasts, local stores, and the spaces, because we don't have many in our community, so we need to support all of these spaces that make us being ourselves. Thank you, everyone.